I live my life a quarter mile at a time. It is perhaps the most famous declaration in modern automotive cinema. But if Dominic Toretto were driving these machines as they rolled off the Detroit assembly lines, that quarter mile would take significantly longer than 10 seconds. Behind the nitrous oxide foggers, the CGI stunts, and the 10-second car mythology lies a different reality. A reality forged in iron, chrome, and the relentless competition of the late 1960s muscle car wars. While the Fast and Furious franchise reignited a global passion for American muscle, it also blurred the lines between Hollywood magic and mechanical truth. Today, we are stripping away the movie magic. We are not ranking these icons by their screen time or their plot armor. We are ranking them by the cold, hard numbers of their real-world performance. From the heavyweights of the Mopar Alliance to the big block legends of Chevrolet, we will determine which of Toretto's machines truly ruled the asphalt. This is a ranking of the franchise's most legendary muscle cars, ordered from the slowest to the undisputed king of the quarter mile, based on historical road test data. The heavyweight contender, 1970 Ford Torino Cobra. We begin our ascent with a machine that served as the primary antagonist's weapon in the fourth installment of the franchise, the Ford Torino. In the film, this car was depicted as a match for Toretto's Chevelle, capable of high-speed desert pursuits and brutal vehicular combat. In reality, the 1970 Ford Torino Cobra was Ford's answer to the budget muscle car market, a philosophical contrast to the more expensive Mustangs. Equipped with the 429 Cobra Jet engine, it was an industrious giant of a car. However, physics is a ruthless judge. Despite its massive displacement, the Torino was heavy, often tipping the scales over 3,800 pounds. According to historical performance data, the 1970 Torino Cobra clocked a quarter-mile time of 13.99 seconds at 101 miles per hour. While a sub-14-second time is respectable, and in 1970, it was faster than 90% of what was on the road, it places the Torino at the bottom of our list. It was a car of presence and torque, but in a straight drag race against the titans of this list, it would find itself looking at taillights. The Agile Fighter, 1969-1970, one Ford Mustang. Next, we move to the quintessential pony car. The Mustang has appeared in various guises throughout the franchise, most controversially in Tokyo Drift with a Nissan engine swap, and most violently in the tank battle of the sixth film. If we look at the high water mark for this chassis, the 1971 Boss 351, we see a different approach to speed. Ford's strategy here was not just brute force, but balance. The Boss 351 was a precision instrument compared to the sledgehammers of the Dodge camp. Real-world testing from the era puts the 1971 Boss 351 at a quarter-mile time of 13.8 seconds. It edges out the larger Torino by nearly 0.2 of a second. This reinforces the idea that greatness in the muscle car era wasn't just about cubic inches. It was about power-to-weight ratios and how effectively a car could put that power to the pavement. The Mustang was fast, visceral, and viscerally thrilling. But as we climb this list, we enter the territory of the true big block monsters. The Mopar Enforcer, 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. Now we enter the domain of the Chrysler Corporation, a company that held an obsessive belief that there was no replacement for displacement. The Plymouth Roadrunner appears multiple times in the saga, most notably driven by Letty Ortiz. It was designed with a single, ruthless purpose: speed on a budget. Plymouth stripped away the luxuries, carpets, insulation, trimmed to save weight and cost, focusing entirely on the engine. When equipped with the legendary 426 Hemi, the Roadrunner became a weapon. The data is clear: a 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. With the 426 Hemi recorded a quarter-mile time of 13.34 seconds at 107.5 miles per hour. Notice the jump in trap speed compared to the Fords. That 107 miles per hour indicates massive top-end power. In the hierarchy of the franchise, this car is often portrayed as a secondary vehicle, yet in reality, it was faster than almost anything Chevrolet or Ford could produce in high volume. It was unapologetically theatrical in its simplicity, yet deadly serious in its performance. The Torque Monster, 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454. This was the car Dominic Toretto drove away in during the post-credits scene of the first film, and the car that later destroyed the Torino in the fourth. The 1970 Chevelle SS 454, specifically with the LS6 option, represents the pinnacle of General Motors' muscle car hierarchy. GM had lifted its internal ban on engines larger than 400 cubic inches in mid-sized cars, and the result was an engineering breakthrough that unleashed 450 horsepower, though many historians argue that number was conservatively underrated to appease insurance companies. On the track, the LS6 Chevelle was a revelation. It clocked a blistering 13.12 seconds in the quarter mile. It is a mere hair's breadth from the top spot. The Chevelle combined luxury with violence in a way few other cars did. In the films, it is depicted as a heavy brawler, a characterization that aligns perfectly with reality. It didn't just accelerate, it launched with the force of a corporate takeover. The icon, 1970 Dodge Charger RT. Finally, we arrive at the patriarch of the franchise, the 1970 Dodge Charger RT. In the lore of the Fast and the Furious, Dom claims this car runs 9 seconds flat. He claims it has 900 horsepower and a chassis that twists with torque. That is the Hollywood legend. But what was the reality of the machine sitting on the showroom floor in 1970? Equipped with the 426 Hemi, the Elephant engine, the Charger was indeed the king of the street, but it was not a 9-second car. Real-world testing of the 1970 Dodge Charger RT Hemi reveals a quarter-mile time of 13.1 seconds. It takes the #1 spot on our list, edging out the Chevelle LS6 by just 0.02 of a second, a blink of an eye. This statistical dead heat illustrates why the rivalry between Mopar and Chevy endures to this day. However, the gap between the real 13.1 seconds and the movie's 9 seconds is an eternity in racing terms. To bridge that 4-second gap requires not just a supercharger, as seen in the film, but a complete reconstruction of the vehicle's chassis and suspension. The movie took a car that was already a legend, the fastest of its day, and elevated it into the realm of superheroes. From the 13.99 second Torino to the 13.1 second Charger, these machines represent the golden age of American performance. The movies may have exaggerated their capabilities, turning them into gravity-defying stunts, but the reality is impressive enough on its own. These cars did not need CGI to be exciting. They relied on mechanical grip, carburetor tuning, and the bravery of the driver. The rivalry between Ford, GM, and Chrysler in 1970 produced a lineup of vehicles that, even without the Hollywood embellishment, stand as the high watermark of the internal combustion era. If you enjoyed exploring these untold rivalries of the car industry and separating the facts from the film, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the automotive world. Until next time, remember that without rivalry, legends are never truly born.